I'm Lynnell Edwards. I'm a poet and associate programs director with Spalding's School of Creative and Professional Writing. I'm going to read two poems for you this afternoon. Both are from a new collection titled This Great Green Valley from Broadstone Books, available May 1st. And most of the poems are about Kentucky's early frontier history that was information culled from sources at the Philston Historical Society. So these are both stories that I read multiple accounts of, and they are historically based. So the first is called John Swift Warns You of What You Seek. And it's about the legends that there is apparently a treasure trove of silver mined and available and hidden somewhere in eastern Kentucky. And I don't know if that's true, but people certainly did poke a lot around for it. So this is written in John Swift's voice, as it might be imagined in the mid-18th century. John Swift warns you of what you seek. Ugly business this, dead men and their treasure, my legacy writ. Indian trader, pirate, man of faint allegiance to nation, God, who I did or didn't kill, blood some way spilled to get map or passage to Cherokee, Shawana load, primitive kilns that smelt silver from ore, Boone, Filson, Herod, fevered with legend, disappear into this rough and cliffy country. Look for a peculiar rock where three creeks come together. Sign of a triangle, sign of a compass, sign of a trowel and square. Haven't I said enough? I am blind at the end, the dim work of mining, its salts and fire. Or a duel robs me of my sight, the other fellow his life. Still I point men panting for wealth, south or east, by the feel of sun on my face. Some don't come back, none get rich. No furnace never found, nor counterfeit sack of English crowns. More, Furnace Creek, Clear Creek, Cane Creek. Look for a rock house, look for a hole. It's all in the journals. 50 poles south, look for a notched oak, Buffalo Rock, Sky Rock, Tabletop Rock. Have you no sense, no eyes to see? You'll get nothing more from me. The second piece is based on another legendary story from Kentucky's early history about the women of Bryan Station who, when under siege, had to go get water to keep the station supported. And this poem imagines that. Heroic deeds of former times, the women of Bryan Station, Kentucky, supplying the garrison with water. And it's actually based on a painting from the 19th century. All of you must go. All of you, the married, the unwed and widowed, the old, the young, fearful and clutching their mother's hems, those afraid and those bold in their resolve, or with hope abandoned, know no fear. You must take your gourds and noggins, pails and pigeons, walk to the spring to fill them. The day will be hot, and the fires will be hot. The rifles will scald our palms, and we will not last the siege without water. More, you must deceive the savage what waits, hides all around the station, watching, thinking himself unseen, his great numbers cloaked in the reeds and the cane brakes, the dense August foliage. He thinks we do not hear his rustling above the click and whir of cicadas, the low song of frogs at night. And so you must carry on your daily ritual, gather water as women do each day. Betray no fear, no hesitation in your step, no trembling in your hands as you dip your vessels at the mouth. Do not trample the late summer stream, rush and muddy the floor. Do not eye with each step or search the woods for the painted face, a tomahawk's glint in sunlight. Do not hurry furtive on the path or crowd one another to safety on your return. Comport yourself as if you had no other task this day, no different than any other day. Imagine Miriam and her sisters dipping their amphora in the Nile, balancing the blessed cool on hip and head, steady salvation through these rough gates. And now if you'd like to try this at home, I'm going to encourage you to think of an event, a story you know from recent or distant past histories, a public story, not a family history story. And then I'd like you to try and find 5 different sources, one of which might be a painting or a photograph. Try to find a primary source or 2, like a diary or a newspaper account from the time period, and a secondary source or 2, something like an analysis of it or a report written many years after the fact. Read them carefully, make a few notes if you like, but not in the interest of getting this right as if you were writing a history paper for your sophomore English class, but instead to help you remember what's important. Let the story sit with you a day or 2, and then write it out. Lean into the language you remember, and if a voice comes to you from the story, use that, as I did in the voice of John Swift. And have fun with it. It's a great way to think about history and your relationship to it, and to get yourself going in April, National Poetry Month. Thanks.